I'm wearing.
Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There may be strong language and adult themes.
That's a big pipe on a little car. I'm Godless Owen. How's everyone doing?
And we have Stool back with us tonight, at least as long as his experiment with his phone holds together.
It's doing okay so far. The battery's still at showing 100%,
Awesome.
and I don't seem to have burned the place down, so it's looking good.
Good, good.
But just you wait until tomorrow. I'll be back.
Yeah, assuming Amazon and the post office got their act together.
Oh, this is why I'm not sleeping. It's kind of 4 a.m. The post office opens at 9 a.m. So I'm waiting for my email.
Yeah, no guarantee it'll be there as soon as they open, though. It's kind of whatever time the truck gets it to the post office, isn't it?
I think it will have arrived at the post office yesterday.
Ah, okay.
That's how it usually happens. Are you tracking it?
I can't track it. Only Purple's partner in crime can do that.
Oh, because usually in America, like it'll tell you, like Amazon, it has it's shipped, it's in the warehouse. They don't do that unless they're a day ahead.
Oh yeah, I personally can't do that, but the person who placed the order can do. I'll just get because it's a gift from my wish list, so I'll just get an email when it's ready for me to collect it.
Awesome.
Get you a buck.
Which I'm super excited about. You've never seen me polish my MacBook Pro so much in my life. It's shinier than Will's head.
Okay, and
I actually didn't shave tonight, so that's not that hard.
Who do we have with us in the side chat tonight? So far I'm seeing Ox out there and us.
Oh, how do I get side chat on this? Oh, it's there.
How's it going?
Stupid bloody phone.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
maybe because of the misfire earlier, maybe people don't realize now that I'm going, so.
So, there I was. I was a young lad. I was in my 20s. I was in the middle of Saskatoon, Canada. And someone asked me if I'd ever had poutine before. And I'm probably not even saying it right.
You're totally not saying it right.
Oh, I can't speak English properly, and it's my first language. Deal with it. So, anyways, I said, no, I hadn't. It's cheese curds with gravy on it. As a fan of gravy and cheese in general, the combination is actually quite disgusting. And I'm looking at the wrong computer. So that was kind of embarrassing. Let me reposition myself. Okay. So I'm a fan of cheese. Cheese curds are not my culture.
Yeah, I definitely like things in a good rich gravy, but somehow gravy on cheese curds does not seem to make it for me.
And, I'm an American. I put gravy on everything, on, biscuits, Thanksgiving turkey, mashed potatoes. I'm hungry now. But cheese curds are one of those things. It's just, it's gross. Sorry. But I grew up on
cheese curds are one of those things that, I like a couple times a year. I can't eat them on a regular basis.
Agreed.
Largely because they're just a thing that we always got at the state fair, so that's just where I'm expecting them. I'm not expecting it to be something that I would get anywhere else, really.
I don't know. It's just one of those things. Are there combinations that you'll eat separate but not together? Oh, don't tell me. Looks like we're going extra.
Yes, pineapple and pizza.
I never thought about that. I'm obsessed with pineapple, but if you put pineapple on pizza, I'll fight you.
Yeah, pineapple is delicious for dessert. Pizza is wonderful, but the two should never touch.
Hey, native atheist, how's it going? That's so true. I never thought about that. I could eat a whole pineapple by myself. Oh, that's funny. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I like everything fried.
Okay, cheese curds on hash browns with pepper gravy.
Okay, do you guys like grits?
No.
Neither do I. I think they're gross. But growing up, I grew up in a house where someone ate it every day. I think is the most disgusting thing on planet Earth.
I had to make it several times a week because for my fiance it was a comfort food, but just the texture of them puts me off. I can't.
Same. My dad felt that a breakfast plate wasn't complete without grits.
Well, that's pretty much a standard in the South, isn't it?
Yep, exactly. He was obsessed with pig's feet. I think it's an act of cruelty even to bring a jar of pig's feet in your house. Open it up in your living room and tell me that smell doesn't linger for a week. But I grew up in a house where it was cooked regularly, you know. Let me grab my phone.
Yep. I did usually make the made the grits with chicken stock.
Yeah. There's certain things, but you know, I'm a cheeseburger and pancakes kind of guy. What do I know?
Yeah, my fiance's family was from Alabama, so she got brought up on that same Southern cooking.
I did as well, and there's a lot of things that like I'll Southern fry anything. I learned to cook from my pop, so there are certain things. I love collard greens, you know. They don't love me back. But there are certain foods that just stuck with me as a kid. But cheese curds are gross. I'm trying to be nice because I know in other people, you know, other parts of the world it's a delicacy.
No, like I said, the cheese curds are good for a snack occasionally, just not with any regularity.
Like in I think yams are kind of gross. In a place like Nigeria, I would get slapped for saying that.
Yeah.
You know, so it just depends on where you're from.
Well, you also have to allow that a lot of places they just, you know, Americans are pretty spoiled as far as what's available for food. We can be picky.
So I always tell a funny joke about being spoiled. I didn't eat oatmeal until I was 22, 23 years old because I was poor. I'd never had oatmeal before because I'd always told my mom, like, no, it's gross. I love oatmeal now. I love oatmeal.
Yeah, it's one of those things I don't digest well, so I tend to avoid it.
I just always thought it was lumpy and weird. But as I got older, I learned to appreciate it. I grew up. My parents used to grow squash, so like bell peppers, squash. There's certain things that I still grow. I still grow chili peppers, all kinds of stuff. And bell peppers, they get huge and they don't take that long to grow.
I love acorn squash, but most other squash I don't care for. And as far as the greens with vinegar, yeah, you know, I'll go for that. You know, like some steamed spinach with vinegar.
I am gonna go in my kitchen tonight and make something spectacular after this conversation.
What's actually good, and most people don't think of eating it, is the dandelion greens. If you get them before they flower, you can steam them, and you can't really tell them from spinach. They're almost identical then.
I had a good friend who married a young woman from Israel, and they walked in my backyard. And she was a total pothead, so shout out to all the Israeli potheads. We were hanging out in the backyard, and she showed me how I have grapes, and she showed me how to cook with my grape leaves. Like there's all kinds of meat I wrap in grape leaves now. It's the greatest thing on planet Earth.
The wild grapes have become an invasive species in a lot of areas of the country.
The crazy thing about grapes, they come back more fierce every year, and we have less water. You know, it's strange. Grapes are a funny animal.
Well, like I say, the vines will grow. It's just a matter of if they don't have enough water, you won't get any fruit on them.
This year I didn't get as like last year. I had so many that I was giving them away to the neighbors, and they were like locking their doors, like, "Uh-oh, here comes William with more grapes."
I thought that only happened with rhubarb.
They for some reason last year I it was one of those funny things where it was just growing out of control. But one of the reasons I'm trying to not trash cheese curds is because I had them in Canada, and I honestly had a great time riding from Vancouver to Saskatoon. I had a great time. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. If you ever have an opportunity, Canada is a beautiful, beautiful place.
I'd like to do a Canadian road trip, but I need to get the paperwork straightened out for them to let me in.
It's the equivalent of driving from like Seattle to Detroit in America.
Yeah. Well, one of the things on my bucket list is to see the Royal Tyrrell Museum in Alberta.
Oh, heck yeah.
They're supposed to have the largest collection of mounted dinosaur fossils anywhere in the world.
That totally reminds me. Where is that statue that's in Fargo? Is it in what's the name of the town? I got ripped, and so I forgot the name of the town.
Moorhead. I'm not sure. I didn't.
Oh, it's Fargo.
I
see. You know what's so funny? I'm so stoned that I was like, "What's in Fargo?" It's Fargo. Yikes! It's been that kind of day.
Well, actually, it throws people off because the name of the movie was Fargo, but most of it takes place in Minnesota, and Fargo is actually North Dakota.
So is the statue in North Dakota, or is it, King scored, or is it in Minnesota?
Well, if it's actually in Fargo, that's North Dakota.
Okay.
It's one of those, it's kind of one city straddling the state line, so it's technically two cities of Fargo and Moorhead. So on the Minnesota side, it's Moorhead, Minnesota.
I totally understand that. I live in LA. Like, there was one time I was in downtown Los Angeles, and I turned the corner, and they were filming Law and Order, and downtown Los Angeles all of a sudden looked like New York. So I'm all about lights, glitz, and camera tricks.
Yeah, Ox, my father used to make dandelion wine. So I remember going in the park and harvesting all the dandelion blossoms because you needed like a bushel of dandelion blossoms to make like 1 quart of wine.
Oh yeah, Ox, I got a new pen. I got so ripped last week. I need to learn my lesson. I should chill out. They do that with Vancouver, Canada as well. They filmed Stargate there, Stargate Atlantis. Like, I could sit here and name all the sci-fi shows.
Well, yeah, it got to be a big thing there for a while just because it turned out a lot cheaper than them filming it in the U.S.
Which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing. And I'll tell you, as someone who's from here, like, the people who work for the studios are worse than, like, you think the actors are mean. They're actually nice people. Some of the griffs are some of the barkiest, mean people on earth. So the fact that they left town, some people were like, good, but a lot of people lost their jobs when Hollywood went north.
Well, yeah, California, that was one of the major industries.
It still is, but it's more now like, I shiver when I say it. We have a lot of famous YouTubers that move here now. Or just, people in general that move here because the infrastructure is here.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's still, as far as standard of living, still one of the top states. So people who can afford to go there, but that's the kind of thing, it's people who can afford to because the cost of living there is quite a bit higher.
It's outrageous. I had this conversation with my friend from Oregon the other day when it's like, why do people from Oregon hate Californians? It's because we move there with what we think is a little bit of money and like, our cost of living is so much higher. Once people find out what the prices are out of state, they run out of state. because you can actually have a life and conduct yourself and go out, and eat dinner, and you can't do that in LA on a certain budget.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I couldn't afford to live in any city in California on what I make.
I was thinking, because I don't want to live where I live anymore, just because society's becoming so polarized. So, and it's not even about politics. It's just when I was a kid, this town was like Mayberry almost, and it's not like that anymore. And I don't blame society or anything. Times have changed, but I'm gonna move, and I'm down to go live somewhere country.
Society is being polarized between people who think that you should try to live within society and people who think that they have the right to be an asshole.
That's the thing. And the sad thing is, I'm from LA, and I feel like I can't be myself anymore because it's so. And I'm not talking about like the Hollywood area or anything like that. Like the LGBTQIA plus community is huge here, but I'm just saying, like, times have changed. Times has changed.
Yeah. Well, there were a couple of years that Minnesota was a big place for them to film movies. I think that only lasted like about 3 years or something. But
so one of the reasons I put Chips in one of my videos, the Chips opening theme, they used to film that in my hometown.
Yeah, you've said that. But,
when it was just nothing here. And like I always say, I met Caitlyn Jenner. There's a picture of her holding me as a baby in the CHP uniform. I gotta find that.
Yeah, that's kind of weird now.
That's what that was 39 years ago.
Yeah, some things have changed.
I was one and some change, so that definitely was 39 years ago.
Yep.
They also filmed Dukes of Hazzard out here, a bunch of what's it called? I live in the outskirts of LA. John Wayne, Humphrey Bogart, and what's his face? They fought World War II from Burbank Studios, which is literally like 20-30 minutes from my house.
Yeah, they filmed Jingle All the Way here, and I almost wound up in the movie.
They're selling Turbo Man at Walmart right now. I saw it like last week. As I'm walking by the toy aisle, I literally muttered "F Christmas." it makes me violent when they start pulling out Christmas before Halloween.
Hey, Jen. I wasn't lurking. I was fighting the iTunes replacement.
So, is it pronounced Jinju?
I was pronouncing it Jinzu, and
Jinzu.
said I was close at least.
I have Apple products as well, and this last update has ruined my life. I was trying to log in on my other computer, and it won't let me, and I still don't know what I've done wrong. But it wants all these triple passwords now, and I'm like, F you.
Yeah, I would not buy any Apple product just because they go out of their way to make sure that you have to buy the accessories from them. You can never buy anything from a third-party vendor and expect it to work.
Cough, cough.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey. Apple and I have been fighting. I'm not going to sing Apple's praises tonight. I'm not at all. I should be talking to you over there, showing off all my fancy sewing machines. My other one.
Would that be a Husqvarna?
Well, Jenny.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to say for the record, I talked about cheese curds as long as I could.
I always stayed on it for about 15 minutes, more or less.
Oh, we'll talk about cheese curds?
Yeah, wrapped in with the southern cooking things.
Yeah,
Today is National Cheese Curd Day.
Oh man, I didn't know that. I should have bought cheese curds. I love cheese curds, but I'm from Wisconsin.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yesterday, can you guys see it? Can you see that?
I see a sewing machine, but
This is a brother PE, which is personal embroidery 535. Okay. It came to my house. I didn't order it.
Really?
No.
An embroidery machine too. That's a fairly high ticket item there.
If you went to the store, it's like $700. On eBay, it's 5 to 7.
Wow.
Somebody sent this to my house, but the problem is they sent it in my real name.
Oh.
And I'm not. See, no one's watched my video because I'm about to repeat what I said in the video last night. I'm not anyone to look a gift sewing machine in the mouth, but like, don't come to my house. Don't come to my house. If you are stalking me, don't come to my house. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to kill the conversation. I'm keeping it too. Thank you very much. But somebody sent me something, and like no one's confessing or coughing up.
Okay, have you tried plugging it in yet?
Thank you, Shinzu. Oh wait, you know what? You guys haven't watched my video because in my video, I'm like debating if I should like. I sat there. I didn't even open it up, and I was like, should I even open this up? And then it cuts to a scene, and I'm reading the instructions, and I'm like, I guess I didn't blow up. Oh, King scored again. So I was kind of freaked out. Wouldn't you be freaked out? Like, I have a P.O. box. Thank you.
Well, yeah, if anybody sent me anything under my legal name, I mean, I know there's a few people in the community that know it just because I've had to send packages to them before.
Did it come UPS or post office?
UPS. And I'm glad you asked because I know someone who works pretty they've worked there for 20 years now since we were kids, and 19. But anyways, God, 21 years he's worked there. I called him and he flat out told me it's anonymous and I should lock my doors and just accept the gift.
Oh, he looked it up and said there's no name attached to it.
Yeah, they paid with gift cards.
Oh, man.
This is getting even weirder.
This is really cool.
That's why I made the video last night, because I was going to make the video about the sewing machine, this one, because I'm proud of myself. Like, I put that back together. Like, that's an accomplishment, Yeah. And so and then after the stream, I'm in pain. My mouth hurt. The UPS guy came to the door and I'm like, check the name on that to make sure it's the right house, because they mess up all the time,
Yeah, I had 2 appointments today, so I didn't really have any time to get online.
Oh, it's no big deal. But
were you able to find any kind of I don't know if UPS has an equivalent, but a postmark that would tell you how long it was in shipping, maybe.
Well, once you order it, it just goes to like let's say you order a bag of candy. They just tell the C's, they just tell like the M&M people, okay, mail this to this house. So it comes from the M&M factory. So, so this came from a warehouse where it already was just sitting, waiting for someone to buy it.
Right.
So it could have came from China, from Minnesota, from Florida. It arrived at my house yesterday.
Hey, Diana, why don't you come on in here?
I'm still like I said, like.
Do you know any criminal element who would steal something like that and send it to you because they know that you sold?
I had a real life stalker until I got with my ex-girlfriend, and that it's really funny. Shout out to my ex-friend who totally called out everything that was going to happen. You were right. If you're watching, if you get any solace in me being a total a-hole, you were completely right. You called out everything that was going to happen. but she used to send me stuff all the time. So I kind of got spoiled by it. So it's not the first time someone sent me something.
Boy, it is spooky. You know, it came to your house. It means they have your actual home address.
And my real name. I have a carry license, bro. Because women are not this aggressive. I have a carry license.
Well, I mean, it would be one thing if they sent you, like a $20 gift or something, but something that's over $500.
This is why I'm still a bit weirded out. I just the heebie-jeebies are not real, but it gave me the heebie-jeebies. Like,
I'd be weirded out if I knew who sent it. It's just like, don't send me this kind of stuff.
I woke up and I walked out here and I'm like, oh, that thing is still here, huh? It weirded me out last,
Jinzu's wondering which game you've got on.
Oh, I'm watching the Dodgers and the Giants, and I have the Kings and the Golden Knights on my telephone. The LA is playing twice tonight.
Well, good luck to the Dodgers.
The Giants, it's personal when the Dodgers play the Giants. So I'm trying not to even watch. So if I scream F really loud, just know that it's an emotional time of year for me. And the Kings are going to be just where they were last year. So I'm going to scream OF a bunch during the Kings season this year.
That's one of the things about professional sports is that, I don't grok how people get so emotionally involved in something that they really have no part in.
Okay, so I agree with you. I won't loot or riot or beat anyone up over my team. I will wear other teams' colors. In LA, that's a cardinal sin if you wear a different team's colors. I have a if you don't pay my bills rule. So if you don't pay my bills, then I don't emotionally invest in you that much. But there's the nostalgia. Like Dodger Stadium hasn't changed since I was a child. All they did was add more seats, So every time I watch a Dodger game, I remember the first time I walked and just saw the field when I was a little boy. It's one of those things.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong memory. I have similar.
Yeah, I guess that's a big part of it for me that, that none of that was ever part of my childhood. So there aren't any kind of memories or connections like that.
And I've been to ballparks all across America, ones that I consider that are even more beautiful than Dodger Stadium. But because, it was my first, I consider it one of the most beautiful parks on earth.
Yeah, I went, I got to go to a couple of games in Chicago growing up, but, nothing that really stands out. I remember going to a couple of Blackhawks games.
It's understandable. Well, everybody's mom is a MILF.
I actually date
so to speak.
I'm like cougar bait. So cougars walk up to me. I love cougars. I said, well, I'm that guy probably effing someone's mom right now.
Hey, Sal.
Hey, Sal.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting I've got to get on Discord to give Sal a link.
Oh, come on. See, if the Dodgers lose tonight, their season's over. That's why I'm watching this, because normally I'd be watching the Kings game and ignoring everything else because I'm much more of a hockey fan. But, the Dodgers are world champs. Got to represent. They're the COVID champions. So, yeah, I have a news stalker. my
Well,
old friend.
Congratulations.
And I just want to say, it does feel good to be stalked again. Every once in a while, I need my ass slapped and someone to tell me I'm pretty. Oh, I saw the Penguins game, Irish Sweet. I saw that. I saw that. Hey, but the Penguins have Jeff Carter now. You literally have one of the best kings from our run, from both of our cup runs.
How did the Penguins lose? Did they leave their lasers at home?
It's weird to have a new fan, but I have security cameras, and I live in my neighborhood. I live on a block with a bunch of cops, and they're gun happy Trumpers.
Is it meteor season? I wasn't aware it was meteor season, but
Well, maybe somebody out in the audience is a factory representative somehow of Brother, and they arranged for you to get it just because they knew you would talk about it, a Brother machine, on your show, and then it was kind of like buying some advertising for really, really cheap.
Okay, so Jenny,
for a Brother sewing machine.
Hey, brother, if you are listening, I would rock a Brother t-shirt with my Brother pants on, with my Brother watch on. Get at me.
Double done.
So Diana's doing the tribute to Cy Strike.
Aw. How are you?
Oh, in a word,
Nah, I hear ya.
I had a hell of a day. Sometimes during dialysis, if they pull the fluid too quickly or something, or I haven't the slightest idea what it is yet. It could be as simple as me having a piece of candy before dialysis started, but you start cramping like crazy, and God, it hurts.
Can you
And
tell them not to do that?
Let me put my headset on, and that way I can hear you people.
Well, I know I get the leg cramps get a lot worse if I'm dehydrated, so I assume it's something to do with that if they're like pulling the moisture out of the muscles too fast.
There we go. Now we're all set. Yeah. And I haven't figured out what I can get away with yet. So I don't know exactly what it is that causes this. As I said, it could be as simple as me having a piece of candy on my way over to the place this morning. And something that's simple, then it's...
Yeah, I didn't know it was triggered that easily.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
That's what I got to find out. So my doctor's coming in Saturday morning, so I have to ask her about this and see what she knows. But other than that, no, it was, oh Jesus, I was crying in the seat there. It was that bad.
I'm sorry.
But then they put fluid back into me, and it helped after a while, but it took a while to help. Oh, look, it's a kitty. Hi, kitty. There's a kitty. Meow.
Yeah, I have a kitty laying here, and I keep having to move his paws so he's not pressing buttons on the keyboard.
Oh my. I made a mistake when I built the machine I'm using right now. The case I got has a power switch on top. And the little one over here will occasionally get on top of the computer and turn it off right in the middle of something.
Oh God.
Yeah. I've had her interrupt my broadcast right in the middle.
When I was looking at cases for a new machine, I saw a bunch of them that had the button on top, and I was like, yeah, that's a mistake. Why would anybody design it that way? Or even ones that had the like the USB ports on top instead of in the front. And I was like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking when I bought this case.
I don't get why they would build them that way. It makes no sense to me.
I guess some people don't some people are not had by cats. It's got to be it.
Well, not just cats, but if you've got the open ports facing up, isn't that just asking for dust and crap to accumulate in them?
Well, of course it is, yeah.
But I suppose that some of the people who design these things live in clean rooms.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing I discovered, it's been really great these last 3 years, but before I quit smoking, I would really get my my DVD readers all messed up.
Yeah.
To the point where the trays wouldn't even open. Hey, hi, honey. The laptop is wonderful. Oh my, it's nice and light. And I haven't got quite everything all set up yet, but it's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm actually to the point where I can do some work while I'm there.
I had that same problem with certain ports because I smoked pipe tobacco profusely.
Yep. That was me.
So I know exactly what you're talking about. And my dad's old computer, it took a year before the Captain Black smell washed off that thing.
Oh my, but I'll tell you, it's as much as I hate losing my trademark, I don't mind at all having quit smoking.
Well, you could always just have a bubble pipe.
Yeah, there you go.
I used
to walk around downtown with my hat and my backpack and my cigar and the old dyke walking around downtown Pittsburgh, and I was definitely recognizable.
Yeah, Jin, when I had my Commodore 64 with my ex, her toddler decided that the saltines were the right size to fit in the disk drive.
Oh,
whoa!
Yeah, but how much info did they store?
Well, even with the proper disks, it only stored 144K. So
it's amazing when I think back. It wasn't all that long ago where the storage was tiny.
When I went in 1982, when I graduated high school, and I went to the tech school, to Brown Institute, to learn computer programming, we were the first class that got to use the new screen editors that took the 8-inch floppy disks. We wound up doing our first 3 units on punch cards, waiting for those to be ready.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I remember punch cards.
Yeah, punch cards were great if you dropped the deck and then you spent all night sequencing them.
Yes.
There was one guy who had set his deck on top of the printer just to tie his shoes. But these were the big mainframe printers, so this printer was like the size of 4 file cabinets.
Yes.
But when it ran out of paper, the lid opened automatically.
Oh no!
Yeah, so dumped 300 cards all over the floor.
I bet for the rest of that person's life, they never put anything on top of anything ever again.
Did you have the 029s that punched a sequence number into the cards as you keyed them?
Yeah. Yeah, they had the sequence number, but you still had to read the numbers manually and put them all back together.
Oh, okay.
Because if
Because
you
my
fed them
next
into the
question,
machine in the wrong order,
my next question was going to be if you had a collator. Yeah, because at the college where I was doing the punching of the cards and everything, you could put a random bunch of cards into this machine and it would sort them numerically. You might have to go through 5 or 6 passes, but eventually you'd end up with them in numerical order.
yeah, no, we had to do them manually just because there was always too long a line for the machines, too many people waiting to use them.
Okay.
Oh, not that kid.
Oh
Sorry.
man,
I'm
you
watching a
children
Dodger
over
game.
there.
Sorry.
1982, you were less than 10 years old. Jesus Christ. In 1982, I was what, 27?
So ironically, 1982 was the year of that picture I was talking about earlier, where Caitlyn Jenner was holding me in her arms in her Chips uniform. That was the year.
Oh my word.
Good
Did you
times.
have to ritually bathe yourself to get the Caitlyn Jenner off of you or what?
My mom was obsessed with Caitlyn Jenner when she was on Chips back in the day. And so they filmed it in my town, and she brought me down there. I also met Mr. T.
I didn't even remember Jenner being on Chips. It's been so long since I've seen the show.
That's how long. And I also met Mr. T too. I actually have a signed picture with Mr. T. It's
Okay.
really cool. But that was in 1982, also because they filmed the A-Team out here as well. Long time ago.
There, now I got it.
Yeah, Irish Sweet and I are around the same age. Totally.
Well, and
Oh,
in the
that's funny.
stream yesterday, you were talking about being old and you were the youngest one here.
I like hearing that. I want to hear that some more. I say this all the time. Like the other day, I said at work, like, "Oh, I feel like Al Bundy," and someone looked at me and said, "Who's Al Bundy?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Get out of here now!"
Well, actually, I like it when Jenny is on the stream with me because then I'm not the oldest bitch on the channel. Hi, Jenny.
You know what? I won't even. It's just I feel my age sometimes. Like even right now, my alternate universe chin beard is turned gray. It's just I'm starting to show my age.
Oh, I was starting to go gray in my mid-30s.
Well, for about the first 2 years I was on YouTube, if Diana wasn't around, I was the oldest one in here, and usually everyone else was like the age of the kids I raised.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by youth. I'm surrounded by young people. There's a lot of people who don't know my references. Or like in my in the Bell Bottoms video, somebody who shall remain nameless that I know, they're like, I love your video. Wyclef Jean was the original person to make that Staying Alive video. And I was like, huh? And they're like, this is the original song. And I was like, no, you've never heard of the Bee Gees? But they hadn't.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's what I said. But people like this exist, and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm Gandalf. It made me feel like the old wizard, like I came out for the woods to give people wisdom for a second, It was awful. Absolutely awful. And the worst part about it is that these kids have the internet.
I don't know. Purple, how did you and I get along without the internet years ago? Way back in the deep, dark, distant past.
I'm pre-internet.
I had a bicycle and lived by the second largest library in the state of Illinois.
Oh, man, that's got to be the greatest thing in the world.
Me and my friends, when we were kids, we drank beer and sang punk songs like hobos.
I had to get on a bus and go downtown to get to a decently sized library. But the Cleveland Public Library actually is, or at least when I was going there, it was a damn nice library. Took up, I think, 2 or 3 city blocks in downtown Cleveland. You can just
Yeah.
stay there all day and get lost. It's beautiful.
Sweet is so right. I didn't know that was her last name.
Yeah, where I was living, it was like a mile to the nearest bus stop. So, if I wasn't up to riding my bike a mile or two, I didn't get to anything.
Moo.
So that's why when I was younger, I was so much into the bicycle and haven't kept up to it. I'm not in the shape to do it anymore.
Oh, tell me about it.
But, I used to do the bicycle marathons a lot and, the charity bike-a-thons.
Yeah.
So there were actually times that I had done up to 75 miles in a day.
I just don't have the legs anymore. And of course, I'm in the middle of hills now, so you
Yeah.
need the legs.
I used to do that on my
Well,
skateboard.
I think I still have the legs, but I don't seem to have the breathing capacity for it anymore.
Okay, then.
That's what happened to me when I first got on my rollerblades. Because I played before COVID, I was in an old man hockey league. It was 35 over, and it was literally called old man hockey. But I thought I was going to be like the slowest person there, and I was the fastest person there because everybody had smoked cigarettes. Everybody was pretty much on the same level, and it really helped out my cardio.
Yeah, mine, it's not a matter of any of the health problems or anything. It's just like I seem to have forgotten how to breathe when I'm exerting myself.
Yeah.
In through the nose, out through the mouth. Oh, that's the
Well,
runner
mostly
thing.
it's just if I'm not consciously thinking about it, I tend to breathe very shallow.
Same.
Yeah, I am not looking forward to having the vascular surgery, but once I have that done, I'll have this port taken out and then I'll be able to take an actual real shower and everything. And I can get back to working out. And I'm kind of liking that idea.
Taking regular showers every month is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do you waste that much water? 2 months.
I haven't been able to wash my own hair since June. Blech.
Oh, for me, it's a bath every Saturday night, and I sing the song.
What song is that?
Splish splash, I was taking a bath.
Oh,
All up on you know it. I know it. We all know it.
oh, I thought it was going to be Rubber Ducky.
Oh, I am not. Well, the Golden Knights can go stuff themselves.
I pretty much have to get in the shower every time I shave because my bathroom sink just sucks. It's not even worth it. It's too small and too low to be useful to me for anything.
Oh, wow. Not even with like Drano or anything, or does it just get clogged?
It's not a matter of it's clogged. It's just a matter of the positioning of it. I have to lean over so far to splash water on my face. I'm going to hurt my back that way. It's easier just to step in the shower.
What the hell? I thought there were these things called ANSI standards, no?
Well, yeah, there are, but that's, the standard height of bathroom vanities is just a problem for me. They're too short.
Okay.
I
just didn't see you as that tall. Oh, well.
No, I was what's considered average height for an American male, but...
Yeah, I mean, you're shorter than I am, I think, right?
Yeah, and if it was a bigger sink so I could splash the water without it going all over the place would help too, but...
Aren't you like 4'22"?
Yeah.
I gotta go check
4'22", huh?
Sewing, he's too quiet. Young man.
Yeah, the side chat went quiet on us too. Yeah, stool had perked in for a little bit when Diana first came in.
Oh my. Bowl of rice, huh?
Don't talk about me. I'm here.
Hi, Stool.
Okay, just wasn't sure if your phone was still holding up for you or if it had unplugged itself.
There goes the
No,
neighborhood.
it's good. Oh, go away. It's doing. You're not allowed to say that. This isn't your channel. You can't say that here.
Yeah, I have license.
No,
It's
that's
actually it's actually holding up really well, Jiggity. I'm still at 100%, and I'm not on fire, so
Oh my.
we all know
pretty
that my
good.
channel is the slums,
You
that
didn't
nobody would
start
be
the
in here
fire.
if they didn't get kicked out of the better channels already.
Talking
Oh,
of slums,
I'm more canceled than
Talk-
Dave Chappelle.
talking of slums, if my little doodah arrives tomorrow, I'll be able to actually do some proper things, and I might make a little video
Oh my.
and give a guided tour of this wonderful place. I mean, because it's quite.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Always at the
oh,
good part. It's always
yep,
at the good
now he
part.
fell out.
Brexit. It's Brexit's fault.
Yeah.
Yes.
Herb, you're not the slums. We may be like the shitty side of town, but we're not the slums. We still have fences in
Yep.
front of our houses.
Yeah, I wish I had a proper bathtub.
That was the cable from my earphones just lightly touched the screen on my phone and it kicked me out.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, so you got a real touchy setup there.
You have the shittiest setup in the world there, Stool.
I literally do. If you could see, which you can't because I've none of my stuff anymore, so I can't even take a photo. You'd find it quite amusing. But it will be better tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully you
when
will
the
get the
thingy
new power
arrives.
supply, so if you feel like streaming, you just gotta give us some notice, because I don't always watch things real close if I don't know a few hours ahead of time.
Oh, I am going to stream my arse off.
This, I've got to say,
Your
Stool
audience,
walking around the neighborhood holding his arse out in front of him.
I'll tell you something. I try when Perps does a stream, or even Will here, even though I hate him. I try and watch the stream, but I can only usually manage about the first 10 minutes because of my shit phone. So it will be nice when that thing arrives tomorrow. I can finally do things. Oh God, it'll be so nice.
I've made a bunch of crappy videos that you need to catch up on.
The only thing I've really been watching that I can, for some reason, I can manage to watch the whole thing, even though it's live and goes on for about 4 hours, is Hal Sparks. I told Will about this the other week. For some reason, my phone likes him, and that keeps me mildly amused and entertained for 4 hours every day.
You got me to subscribe to Hal Sparks. I watch Hal Sparks now.
I love it. He makes me laugh so much. He really
House
does.
Sparks?
He used to host Talk Soup. He was after John Henson.
He's
before
on. I think
Tyler.
he streams about 4 times a week. One of his streams, he's actually doing a live radio show, which is broadcast from Chicago, I think. He's in Las Vegas.
He goes twice a day, almost every day.
He has a few. I think he has 2 days off, and then he'll put out a 5-minute clip of some funny bit from the live stream as well. And they're really, honestly, for me to be laughing in my situation is really weird. But I've been absolutely pissing my pants watching him.
Did you catch when he was talking about all of Trump's mistakes? When Trump he cannot speak English.
The one that he put out today, I watched it when he did it live. He put a little 5-minute clip out today on Twitter, and he loses it. He can't stop laughing. because when he was showing a video from one of Trump's Klan rallies, and if you've not been watching Trump's Klan rallies recently, and why the hell would you? The guy's seriously lost the plot now. He's completely gaga.
He said they're gonna deprogram.
He just talks absolute gibberish.
Oh,
and Hal Sparks,
de-engineer is what he said.
Hal Sparks will play this video and comment on it, about why. It doesn't have to be Trump, it could be anybody. He'll say, okay, that's wrong because this is why, because he understands politics. But when Trump's addressing his clowns at one of his rallies, Hal Sparks just can't stop laughing because Trump speaks absolute gibberish now. The words that come out of his mouth, they're not real words.
Is he legitimately demented? Has anybody figured that one out? I mean, I'm being serious now. I'm not.
Well, he's getting what's called like the Michael Jackson treatment, where he's so high you can't tell. He's on the stuff that they don't tell us exists. Like, who knew about Probenthal before Michael Jackson died? If you weren't rich or had been to the hospital and needed it in your life, no one. So he's probably has the best drugs on earth. So you would never know what's really wrong with him.
The one that he posted today, I can't remember the words that Trump. We don't actually know what the words were that Trump was trying to say. That's why it was so funny, because the words made no sense. But what he does, and he's always done this, Trump, when he's reading from teleprompter, and he can't read the words, and so he gets them wrong. And they're just nonsensical. They're not real words, and it's absolutely fucking hilarious. It's so funny. I retweeted that one from today. It's on my doodah somewhere. It's only 5 minutes, but it's so fucking funny.
You and your doodah, are you going to get arrested for showing off your doodah, or what's going on here?
I've got to be very careful with my doodah in this place.
People get put on a list for wagging around their doodah around here.
Oh, they'll have to find me first. I mean, I'm literally slap bang in the middle of the town centre, and you would never know this place exists.
Oh, that's real.
On all the doodah day.
Trump is so
it's a Titan. Did he legitimately announce that he didn't do golden showers? Jesus Christ.
No, I wouldn't put it past him. Well, have you heard what's going on now? Is that the people in the Republican Party that are sick of Trump, some of them are telling people to vote for Democrats because it's the only way they can save the party.
I saw that. Yes.
And now Trump is telling his followers to vote for Democrats so he can get revenge on those people.
Oh, it gets even worse. I mean, Trump he's telling them at his Klan rallies, and he's also put out one of his silly press release letters where he still thinks he's the fucking president. And he says to Republicans, no, he's not saying vote for the other people. He's saying don't vote at all.
Yeah.
And
that's
all
what it was. Trump's saying to boycott the election. Yeah.
What an idiot.
And all the same people are saying, okay, do that. That sounds like a good plan.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
So he's still very much into killing people who vote for him with the old COVID. And now he's telling the ones that were alive not to vote. I mean, this guy is not the brightest, is he?
Well, the thing is, though, I'm thinking that when he is finally gone, and he will be gone eventually, I don't think the problem is going to be over, or am I wrong? I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think the problem is going to be over.
You're not wrong.
I think he's a symptom, not the cause.
Yeah, he's the
You're
tip
not
of the
wrong,
iceberg.
because what he's turned the more nasty people in the Republican Party into, that's not going to go away.
Yeah.
And also,
I was listening to an interview today with a person from the Heritage Foundation.
Oh, Lord.
And they were talking all about how proud they are that they've got over 1,200 volunteers across the country who are specifically working on taking over school boards in 1,200 different districts in the country.
Yeah.
Okay, that they're going after the liberals, the communists, excuse me, from the very basic local level, and that they're making a concerted effort to eliminate anything that's not conservative, and they
I
mean
think the thing that you've got to keep your eye on is the idiot's son. I know they're both idiots, but the which one is it? Trump Jr. Is he the one with the dark hair? I get them mixed up.
I forget, man.
Yes.
he's the one with the dark hair holding the elephant tail. Yeah,
And the
Yeah,
cocaine
that's
on
the
his
one.
face.
He's pumping out lots of videos that are absolute garbage, and he seems to be positioning himself or trying to position himself as being the heir to the throne, if you like.
Yeah.
He's spewing lots of absolute bullshit.
Well,
But one
Titan's
good
saying
thing is,
about Trump falling on a sword to take down the party. I don't see that.
one good
I
thing
think
about
Trump's
Trump's
that kind
strictly
of person.
self-serving. Yeah.
Trump himself, though, the original orange one, he's still doing the grift that keeps on giving. So his clan rallies, he's still doing his clan rallies, for fuck's sake. But he's now not got the audience with Fox News and what have you, because they've basically deserted him. So he's now resorting to having to phone into very shitty online right-wing pretend news channels.
Yeah.
So not even just OAN, but he was on one the other week, which was a really right-wing evangelical Christian thingy.
Ugh.
And for those people, it's like a scoop. Hey, it's Trump, the ex-president. But nobody watches that crap. And he just babbles on the phone for like 15 minutes, talking complete and utter bullshit.
Well, and the Trump organization is now trying to unload the DC hotel because even while he was president and held all these foreign dignitaries reserving blocks of rooms that they never used, somehow he still managed to lose money on it.
He's got a gift when it comes to that.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
in his clan rallies now, all he's basically doing is talking still about how the election was stolen.
He really is, and it's delusional and scary if you really watch it.
It is scary because because he'll stand there. You know, you've seen how long these clan rallies go on.
Oh yeah,
he'll stand there for an hour or an hour and a half or whatever, simply talking about how the election was stolen.
Yeah.
Well, and have you heard what's going on with all the people that Congress has subpoenaed about the January 6th riots? Trump was telling them not to respond to the subpoenas because he was going to claim executive privilege and protect them all.
Executive privilege, my art. You
can't claim executive privilege after you're out of office. So he still thinks he's president.
Oh wow!
And I have to wonder. I mean, does he really? Excuse me. Does he really believe that he still is?
Well,
he's got to be seriously delusional.
What he is claiming is that the conversations that they're interested in took place while he was indeed the actual president, and so therefore those were covered under executive privilege at the time, and
still irrelevant.
And that still holds, even though he's not president now. It's in the records, and those records are still sealed.
No, it's still irrelevant because once he's out of office, the new president is the only one who can say what records can be retained or what records can be released. So Biden is the only one who could prevent Congress from seeing those records.
Trump, he's got nothing
because Biden can release everything he wants to about the previous administration's records.
I understand that. I was just trying to correct what people were saying. That
now,
he's not saying
the weird thing is that.
Wait a minute. He's not saying he has executive privilege now. He's saying he did then, and that it still counts. That's his argument.
Well, and the weird thing is that his lawyers are still willing to make this argument in court.
Donald Trump is snorting out Adderall and wearing a diaper.
It's not just that he's slightly delusional, and he is, obviously, but he's got some other delusional fuck muppets putting bad information into his head. So you still got Rudy talking complete bollocks to him. Rudy, who recently admitted that he gets all his super secret information from Facebook, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And
He's
Mike
like my
Pillow,
mom.
for fuck's sake.
Oh, that guy.
Oh yeah,
Isn't he being sued? Isn't he being sued by the people who put on the elections?
Mike Pillow is very upset at the moment because he received a letter from the voting machine people. I forget what they're called. What are they called?
Dominion.
Yes, he's
Dominion,
being sued
yeah.
by Dominion because he has to
gotta
prove what he said. He said that there was fraud, and he was just mouthy enough where he's getting sued by Dominion, and they're saying, "Show us your evidence."
Yeah, so he's claiming
he's screwed.
He's calling this lawfare, as in warfare, but with the law. And he's got his own channel, and he's really going apeshit about this. He claims he's being, freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. So they threatened to sue him, and I think he still is being. But also all the people who was copying him and spouting off his nonsense, a lot of people received cease and desist letters. Basically just saying, look, don't say this, because if you do, it's not true, we will sue you. And so he's claiming that this is some vast conspiracy by Dominion to curb people's freedom of speech. The guy's absolutely off his rocker. He really is.
Okay, yeah, Sal's got a headline here that's more insane than what we've got going. So the U.S. does not win the internet today, apparently.
Oh yeah, it's lit around the world.
Yeah. Military veterans arrested after allegedly holding minister hostage.
What?
Well, this is Sal's from South Africa.
Oh, right.
If that happened here, our cell phones would be telling us right now. All of our phones would be going.
We did have the militia group try to kidnap the governor of Michigan.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Come on. It's the top of the ninth for anyone who cares. 1-1.
Wait, is this Dodgers Giants?
Yeah, game 5.
Yeah, they're tied in the last inning. Huh? At least it's an interesting game.
He hit Turner. It's these are the ones that have me yelling at the TV because they're always good. And like I said, I'm emotionally invested, but even if the Dodgers lose, like I could shrug it off tomorrow. Not like when the Kings beat the New York Rangers and my neighbor across the street didn't talk to me for 2 months. He's from Manhattan.
I'm sorry, that is so juvenile.
That's what I'm saying. Like And I told him, I told him this year I'm rooting for the Rangers, and he looked at me like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, because they got a bunch of players that like, just people that are like, oh, that guy's awesome." It's sports it's a funny animal. Sports are a funny animal. There are grown men who will get in fistfights. Dodger Stadium. If you're not wearing Dodger colors, like the cops will come around and tell you to leave early because you will get beat up or something thrown at your head violently.
Well, what's amazing here in good old Pittsburgh, people have been killed for making disparaging comments about the Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
Literally murdered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but be honest, come on, you're in Pittsburgh where people get killed for saying that the sign says don't walk.
Yeah, you got a point there.
That's kind of the same here. You can get beat up for any reason. And to me, it seems like people are even more tense now. And I know we blame everything on COVID, but I will say a very matter of factly is that people are way more violent now. At least in LA, like they're ready to fight. People are staring at each other. It's awkward.
I am so glad I live in the middle of nowhere.
People forgot their manners.
None of that, absolutely none of that dynamic exists here. None of it. Not even in big lacrosse with 50, 60,000 people.
Not around my area, but I was at a thrift store 3 weeks ago, and this young man lost it in line, put all of his stuff down, told the security guard to stuff it, pulled his shirt back, and showed his 45 to the security guard, who had a 9mm, and they literally had a standoff right there in front of me. It wasn't in my town, but like people are lit and ready to go right now.
Yeah.
And it's not just in LA. Violence in general
that's
has
what
gone
worries
up.
me. The number of people all across the country who are carrying guns everywhere, and how short some people's fuses are.
And if you think about it, like, we don't have guns here like they do in Arizona. In Arizona, you can open carry, and Nevada, and Oregon. I was out in good old Sandy, Oregon, and a friend of mine was like, "Have you ever seen an AK-47?" I was like, "No. What do you really do with it?" He pulled it out, he fired it, and all of a sudden, all the top of the trees started coming down. He's like, "Oh, that's all it's really good for." You couldn't do that here.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll go to Walmart, to get a loaf of bread or something, and you'll see some guy with a 9mm strapped to his thigh, standing in line, and it's like, why do you need that to go shopping for milk and cheese? I don't get it.
Because he's terrorized by loaves of bread.
Must be.
I never got used to that. When I lived in Arizona, I never got used to that. Even in Texas, in certain places, people wouldn't. You can carry a bazooka in Texas. I've spent some time in Texas, and people really, they're really overt about it, but they're not like in Arizona.
They're trying to pass the new law in Wisconsin to allow concealed carry without a permit now. It wasn't good enough that they could have concealed carry with a permit. Now they want to do it without a permit.
Yeah, well, they passed that in Texas, so now
of course
they're trying to copy it in other states.
Southern Glovehead, it's that tensions are high. Our local sheriff refuses to enforce anything because they defunded the police. And so the tensions are really high because the cops are literally backing off. Because the state of California was not playing when they said they were going to demilitarize the police. And now our local sheriff is going on Fox News and crying for help. And whenever the authorities are crying for help, you should really think about that. He's just mad because he can't legally beat and kill people anymore.
Yeah.
Is really what it is, or with the same efficiency with all their weapons.
And I don't understand why the need to have the police walking around like Fox Battalion. But, oh well, who am I?
We have an army here, though. Our sheriffs and LAPD, they have more numbers than certain armies in other countries, So they have...
I think Andrew's got a point here that, why haven't Mike Lindell's relatives gotten him some therapy by now?
Oh, he's bonkers. He's
very, very not well. But the unfortunate thing for Mike Pillow is that the other grifters are using him. So Steve Bannon, who has his silly little podcast thingamajig, whatever it is, radio show, he'll regularly have Mike Pillow on to get the latest from Mike Pillowland about, the latest court shenanigans and all this bullshit. But that's just Steve Bannon grifting, getting Mike Pillow on so that Steve Bannon can sell ads. They're playing against each other.
Yeah.
I am so happy that Mike Lindell exists.
The hell's going
That
on?
is such-
The Dodgers just scored. Let's go. Let's
Oh,
go.
yay.
I'm actually really toning it down because I'm online right now. Normally I'd be screaming at the top of my lungs, but I'm gonna lose my voice one day and it won't come back. Sports ball. Sorry, Perp.
Whatever. I don't get it. I just
It's that time of year.
it makes even less sense to me than being straight.
I want to say something about that. When straight guys try to make fun of people who like myself, I always like to remind them, like, what's your my first question is always what's your team? What's your favorite sports team? Then they'll go on for a half an hour about their favorite guy, you know. Like, oh, that's my guy, which I think is the gayest thing on planet Earth. It's true. You know, it's true. Like, straight guys will go talk 45 minutes about some guy, you know. When I do that, he's buying me embroidery machines.
Yeah. I never paid attention to celebrities of any kind, so
I'm just saying.
sports stars or movie stars or anything. I'm pretty much like, is he going to do anything that's going to affect my life? Then I don't care who he is.
There's still, and I know this is the most cliche thing on planet Earth to say, and my neighbors are going to hear it because I have the door open, but it's still awesome to watch fit men walking around with tight pants on. That's the one good thing about sports ball.
They make women wear tight pants all the time.
I watch beach volleyball too. They televise that. I'm a equal opportunity employer.
No, actually, I was thinking of high school girls volleyball and girls sports, and the absolutely obscene uniforms that they put young girls in just to make the audience happy.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. If you think about it,
and not because I'm embarrassed about the body. It's like, how dare you do that to a child?
They don't make the boys volleyball team dress like that.
No, they don't.
Yeah. I wish I could remember which school it was that I had read this incident from, but that a teenage girl was sent home because her shorts did not meet the school dress code.
Oh, they
and
weren't
she showed that her shorts were longer than the skirts that the school provided the cheerleaders for their uniforms.
Oh, that's hilarious.
No, it's sad.
Yeah, so, it's fine when the school wants to issue them uniforms to exploit them to get a better crowd at the games, but not for the girl to wear to class.
Right.
Man, my nephew plays for Cal, and I was trying to think of the last time I went to a college or high school football game, and it's been 20-something years. I was really into sports when I was younger. As I got older, I could care less. But my mom is going up to go see him play again next week. And she asked me if I wanted to go, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
When I was at the University of Pittsburgh, they actually gave us free tickets to the football games. I never went to one because I just wasn't interested.
They do that to fill the seats, especially because they want the kids from the university there.
Yeah. Now, even the kids have to buy the tickets.
Yeah.
But 25 years ago, they were just here,
Ow.
Well, I guess they have to pay for that new facility they just built. They ripped down a perfectly. Okay, let's try this again. They ripped down a perfectly serviceable football stadium to build a new one at millions and millions and millions of dollars, and I just don't understand why. But well.
Who did that?
Yeah.
University of Pittsburgh.
Mm.
I mean, I wasn't a football major. I was a neuroscience major. So, what do I count?
They
Yeah.
do that. They're doing that here right now. Because I watch sports, name me a stadium that doesn't have the name of a bank or isn't half owned by a bank. I was watching two Canadian hockey teams that I shall not name, and they're on their stadium. I mean, on their ice, on opposite sides, they had the two banks that owned the team.
Well, a lot of them are also named for electrical or utility companies.
Exactly.
Which, okay, now that's totally fucked up. If it's supposed to be a public utility, aren't they supposed to just be covering their operating cost? Why do they need that kind of promotion, and why should they even be able to earn the money to support that?
Yeah, I never understood because you would think that the utility company would have a captive audience.
Because in America, when they say nonprofit, they don't mean nonprofit. They mean we take our profit and we reinvest some of it and tell everybody the rest of it. Oh, we'll get to that stuff yet. We just haven't used it yet.
Not all nonprofits.
The big ones, the big boys.
I'll give you that. Once you reach a certain, if you're buying stadiums, then yeah, I agree with you. I'm not buying stadiums.
I've worked for nonprofits where we had to worry about not wasting paper clips. Okay, so there's that in nonprofits too. But we're talking about the big boys who say nonprofit but don't really mean it. It's like I work for this hospital. Oh, this is a nonprofit hospital. Yeah, well then how is it that you can afford to redo your lobby completely every 2 years?
Yeah, that is true. Our private hospital looks like a museum. And it's right in the middle of town. You literally have to tell people like, hey man, I have insurance, don't send me there.
Did I just notice Doc appear somewhere?
Yeah, Doc's been here for a bit.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I can't really multitask on this damn thing, so I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way and speak to him with my mouth.
Yeah, I know when you're on a mobile device, it's hard to deal with the side chat.
It's an absolute pain in the ass. It really is. But it'll all be better tomorrow, kids. I'm going to be back, naked, dancing with the Koreans. Doc, send me a message on the Twitters because I need your name for Star Trek Online, you crazy fucker.
Yeah, well, what was that you were saying that some students had rented a room there and disappeared after one day?
Oh, it's a blast here. It really is.
I can't figure out why they would do it after one day.
No. The town in which I live is a university town, so lots and lots of students, many of which come from abroad. And because of the nature of this particular place I'm in, I use the word place very loosely. There seem to be lots of people from Korea turning up, young kids, which is fun because I'm the only white dude here and we don't understand each other. So landlord person phoned me this morning because I'm a fucking janitor. If you've seen the pictures of my room,
I noticed you seem to have become the caretaker there.
Yeah. In return for this is actually over a takeaway. You can't hear the noise, hopefully, but I can hear it right now. And so that's how I get free food every now and again. Because of I'm now Penry, the fucking mild-mannered janitor.
Yeah.
So he phoned me this morning and said, okay, there's 4 young girls coming. Have the rooms ready. I thought, okay, all right. Meet me outside and carry their luggage in for them because they're girls. I thought, okay, a bit sexist, but whatever. 2 of them went next door to me. there were about 6 rooms here. 2 went next door to me, 2 went upstairs. I fell asleep, and when I woke up, they'd all fucked off. So I don't know where they went.
Weird.
Kids.
Yeah, they're very annoying creatures. They really are.
Yeah, what Swede was saying here, that utilities in most states aren't nonprofit, their profits are regulated. And unfortunately, that's the problem with them, is that their profits are capped, that they can't make something like more than 10% above their expenses. So the way they actually increase their profits is the more money they waste, the more profit they're allowed to make.
Yikes. So is that why they're building stadiums?
Yep.
Here in LA, they literally just had 75,000 people to go see the Raiders play the Chargers during COVID. I thought that was insane in our brand new stadium.
Well, okay, in Minneapolis, they built the Metrodome, which half of the city didn't want in the first place. They really had to fight to get it. And they built it, and in less than 20 years, they abandoned it and tore it down. The part they did not tell most people is that they had not paid off the mortgage at the time they tore it down.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Pittsburgh did the same thing. They had Three River Stadium for baseball and football, and they had millions of debt still on it when they pulled that down and built 2, not 1, 2 new stadia, one for one dedicated to football and one dedicated to baseball, all on they're the public dime here basically. So you've got 50-year-old debt from Three Rivers, and then the debt from Heinz Field and from PNC Park. What sense does that make? I don't understand.
So what's your problem?
Yeah, I know. I'm just, what's the word for it? Rational.
I don't know if they paid it off, but Milwaukee just did that with the Bucks current stadium. That they were in what was called the Bradley Center downtown for I think only about not even 20 years. It was a beautiful building. I'd never actually been in it myself, more than about 10 feet past the door. But it was a very attractive building, inside, outside. It seemed to be efficient. The fans liked it, but they completely tore it down. I actually don't know if they tore it down because I haven't been there since all this started to happen.
I forgot about the Kingdom.
Nonetheless, they built this new Bucks arena that is just this massive thing with all the bells and whistles and come fuck me suites and all that kind of stuff. And it's just amazing how much money will get spent on this shit. And they're bowing to these new Bucks owners and stuff like this. It's like, wait a minute, this one's a slumlord. Don't you know that?
Were they
people that have no money?
In the 20 years that the Metrodome was there, I was in it 6 times. And those were pretty much all for special events. The only one time I was in there when there was actually a sporting event going on was because I was working there.
Okay. Yeah, with the stadia here, were it all privately financed, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't have anything to say. But this is the public dime here.
Yeah, these sports teams are all owned by billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
They get all the profit from it. So why should the city or the state wind up having to pay for them to have a new building?
They literally think it's a privilege to have that team in your city.
Yeah,
they made Inglewood pay for half of the stadium, and they're one of the poorest towns in our district.
They threaten you that if you don't buy a stadium, we're going to leave, and the city is just loath to have the team leave because it takes away a lot of tax revenue that the city needs.
Oh, well, that's when they had the when they were talking about closing down the Metrodome, and the Vikings wanted to build a new stadium. There were a couple of great things that went with that. One of them was that they decided to get the Twins in on it with them. So there was a great slogan going around about "Go Vikings and take the Twins with you."
I like that. I like that.
I have to go. My battery is about to collapse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you take care.
Okay, you
honey.
get some sleep.
Yeah, I'll maybe try to listen in and see. I can listen in without picture and stuff. Maybe I can last a little longer, but
Yeah.
Need to get a proper phone.
maybe someday I'll get a computer again. All right, folks. Y'all take care.
Bye,
Yeah.
Crystal.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Come on, just close it out properly. Okay, foul
The
ball.
other great one, when the Vikings were whining about wanting a new stadium, was they tried to get the Golden Gophers, the university team, involved in it. And the president of the university said that no, our stadium's good enough, but if you want to throw a few $1 million at us, we can put it into the hospital.
Smart.
Yeah, he wasn't going to get in the middle of that.
Oh. You know, these last minutes of the game are always excruciating. The Dodgers are up 2-1. Max Scherzer's pitching, and it's just excruciating.
Yeah, well, when it's a close game, I can understand people getting a bit more excited about it. And maybe that was part of the problem was, growing up in the Chicago suburbs, it's like, even by the time I was born, it had been 50 years since the Cubs had been in the pennant.
Yeah.
One more. And see, that's the thing. One of the reasons I love the Dodgers so much is because when I was a little kid, they won the World Series within my memory. So as a child, I have this glorious, I went to the parade and everything. It was good times, 1988 was a good year. At least when you were a little kid in LA.
Yeah, I was living in St. Paul when the Twins got in the World Series.
Those were great runs. Kirby Puckett was like a hero of mine when I was a kid as well.
Yeah, except that after one of the games, they did wind up rioting in one section of the city, and they were like flipping over cars and setting them on fire.
So
That's a great way to celebrate. Yeah.
People always talk trash about like football hooligans in the UK, and no one in a major city in America says a word because every time the Lakers win, they burn half the city down. When the Dodgers, the only reason that people didn't riot when the Dodgers won is because we were on COVID lockdown. So, I can't talk trash because every time, when the last time Kobe won a championship, they literally went in the outside shot of the helicopter where a mob you could see the mob walking over the 3rd Street Bridge into LA to riot. It was bad. Oh, that's game. Is that game?
They did it.
Oh, they won. I thought they were going to lose. San Francisco, you are the bottom this evening. You are the bottom, San Francisco. Even though technically LA is below San Francisco. We all know it. So the Dodgers are advancing to the championship series. Go stuff yourself, San Francisco. That goes all the way from the Brooklyn Dodgers versus the New York Giants. All right, so you guys now have my undivided attention. Oh, the Kings are still on. So that was a lie.
Yeah, we know we'd never have it ourselves.
Oh, sports will age you. Oh. See, the Dodgers are way better than everybody else, and they just got really stinky towards the end of the season. And the Dodgers lost so much through my adult life. I just got used to them, being a sucky team. So now that they're good, it's almost unbelievable.
Well, yeah, you have to play really hard in the beginning of the season so you get your rating up there, because that's the only way that people's going to pay you a decent amount to throw the games at the end of the season.
There's a sport that I think is rigged, and I won't say it, but I don't even watch it anymore. But that's a different talk for a different day. Because that would be awful. If sports were rigged like that, that would be awful.
Yeah, they catch it once in a while. I don't know how often it actually happens.
There was a ref in the NBA that got caught. There's been people that have thrown games, but
Yeah, I don't expect it very often because obviously if somebody gets caught at, that should be the end of their career.
I feel like that with a lot.
But then again, for professional athletes, their career is generally less than 5 years anyway.
There was a guy who got kicked off of the Kings for beating his wife, and then like a year and a half, 2 years later, he was on the Montreal Canadiens, and he scored a goal, and everybody was cheering for him. Oh, it's his game back, and we all forgot why he left in the first place. I thought it was the weirdest thing when they were praising this guy. He's not in the league anymore, but I thought it was the strangest thing. People have short memories when it comes to sports. I guess you'd have to.
Well, some of us have memories. I mean, I still remember what a piece of shit Barry Bonds was, still is.
It's funny. They celebrated that piece of garbage tonight.
Yeah.
He was just, do you remember Eddie Murray?
Yes.
He was not nice either.
Right.
My mom and dad were friends with his wife, and who now is his ex-wife. And I knew him growing up and stuff a little bit because they lived in this town. Well, he was a Dodger, and when he retired, he came back. And as an adult, he looked me in the eye. He saw me with my cowboy hat, my vest, and everything. He was like, "Man, I'm so glad you didn't grow up to be the F word." He looked me in the eye, and he's like, "I'm so glad you didn't grow up to be a faggot."
Okay.
Yeah. Eddie Murray, he was a not classy act.
Yeah. Well, what about Michael Vick? He got convicted for running a dogfighting ring.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, some other team hired him.
Oh, and now he's another one. Don't even get me started. And
nobody will talk to Kaepernick. Just go figure.
Look at it. I hate to throw Mike Jack under the bus, but Michael Jackson was welcomed with open arms into a community that literally beats up weirdos. Where I'm from, if someone's convicted or even gets, accused, they're excommunicated. And Michael Jackson was celebrated.
Yeah.
Sorry if that completely killed the conversation.
Bang bang.
But I look at them in that same length of like, where's the cutoff of when we turn our backs to people? Because people hate Kaepernick, and all he did was take a knee.
Yeah, that's basically what I was after. Yeah.
But you can be as abusive as possible, and it's literally failing upward. Quite literally, in today's society, the more abusive and angry you are, the higher position you have.
Okay, so Junie, are they officially leaving Soldier Field?
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that. I don't know what's going with the Bears.
I agree, doorknob head.
Michael Jackson had that special color money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes down to for most of them.
That's what drives me. That's like I've said it a million times. In LA, if you have a certain amount of money in your bank account, they'll let you get away with anything.
Well, and unfortunately, the American legal system's very much that way, that if you have enough money to hire a really good lawyer, he'll probably find a technicality to get anybody off.
That's what happened to me in divorce court. I got lucky. I got a really good lawyer and one heck of a good deal. It's sad but true. Socioeconomically speaking, it is. And that is true. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It goes back to like when Michael Jackson was dying, he was given the best drugs on earth because he had the money to do it.
Yeah.
So he was on stuff I'd never even heard of.
Well, same thing with Trump pulling through COVID. You know, he got treatment that nobody else in the country was going to be able to get.
Oh, I would have
Well,
croaked.
This is what really gets me, because wasn't it the case that the orange maggot got a treatment that truly was experimental?
Yeah.
Yes.
That these pieces of shit will not take the proved vaccines because they're allegedly experimental. Go figure.
You're confusing the story with fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. These people, obviously, there's something wrong with their thought process when they think that politicians are going to give them better advice about their health care than doctors.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that should be so fucking obvious. Why is this even a question?
Yeah. Well, I figure they've already made up their minds and they are just grabbing for whatever justification they can find.
Yeah. Well, you know,
And
you
then-
get the cognitive bias that people, you know, find things that confirm what they already believe, but there is another level to that. Yeah, when they are dead set on a belief and are just searching for anything to support it.
Yeah. And that what really gets me is, what do they call the backfire effect or something? When you show somebody that what they believe is not correct, they dig in even harder.
Yeah, the backfire effect's right.
Okay. I don't. What is that? Loss prevention or something? You're already so far invested you can't afford to give up on it? Is that the way that works?
Yeah, I wasn't where they had what the term was for it, but yeah. Yeah, that people are so invested in one idea or supporting one
That's-
thing that they just have no way to back out.
That's kind of what it is. Once people have one of the hardest things for humans to do is to admit that they've been conned.
Oh, yeah.
It's easier to just carry on being conned than to admit you were conned.
Swede says it's the sunk cost fallacy.
Ah, okay. So that actually has a name. Okay.
So one of the big scammers from years ago, I forget whether it was Madoff or Ponzi himself, after they'd been sent to prison, it was proven that it was all a big scam, a con. People would still keep sending their money to these people because it was just easier to do so rather than say, I'm an idiot, I was conned.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very common thing, you know. I don't want to use the B word, but it's what we've got over here with the people who are conned into voting for that nonsense. They're so invested in the bullshit that they will believe any old crap.
And you know it's going on right now because people are still sporting all that Trump crap. They're still believing the lies. You know, where's my phone?
Even though courts have forced Trump to give refunds to people because he defrauded them and misrepresented his claims, people are still willing to contribute to his political funds.
I don't get it. Let me see if I can find that picture of the Trumper. Oh, there
I'll
it
tell you an
is.
interesting one about this
I just sent you a
idea,
picture. Sorry.
just how obsessed these people are with continuing to believe in the con. You know how we've got this problem? Well, we've got a shitload of problems over here, but one of which you'll know about is that we've had to kill all our pigs.
Mm-hmm. With the abattoir.
Okay.
I saw
Yeah.
that story last night. I saw that.
Yeah. So hundreds of thousands of pigs are having to be culled, which means we're having to import pork from the EU to feed us. Okay. Nobody saw that coming, right? So our wonderful government today made a press release thingy saying, "Hey, look how clever we are. We are now going to let qualified butchers slaughter people. You've got to be qualified to do it. To come from the EU to do our slaughtering for us for 2 months. After which they can fuck off back, but and all the fans of this nonsense are going, yay, look at us, aren't we clever? No, we're in this mess because you told all the EU people to fuck off.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
see this as a success.
Okay.
Well, weren't they
so-
offering the same deal to get more lorry drivers over there?
Lorry drivers.
Yeah, that they could come over and they could help you until Christmas, and then they had to go home.
Yeah. Yeah, they said you can come over for a few weeks, but you've got to fuck off at Christmas.
So on that picture on the far right corner, it says Joe and the hoe have to go. And I stand with the blue line. I never met a veteran who fought for evacuation. And I can't read the other one with a Trump flag in the back. That is taken in my hometown.
Wait, I never met a veteran who fought for evacuation, so you obviously never met anybody who was in Vietnam.
Yeah. Huh?
Quite literally. And you know what the ironic thing is that this town, if you see an old guy walking around with a hat on, they're probably a Vietnam veteran, you know. Yeah. You know, and the sad thing is that's on the other side of town. And every time I go over there, it's batshit crazy because no one's wearing masks in stores. And on my side of town, you get like asked to leave if you're not wearing a mask. They will tell you to get the F out, you know. And it's literally like 5 minutes away from my house on the other side of town. It's a different world. It's sad. And yeah, that's in super lefty California. I just don't get how the Trumpers haven't completely given up. And Joe and the hoe, that's actually offensive.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously it's intended to be. Okay, one of the things I don't understand, well, there's a lot in the UK I'm not understanding, but what's the thing of them, going back to using pounds and ounces in the market? Who pushed for that? Who's going to benefit anything from further confusing it?
It's just more complete bullshit. It's not a real thing, but basically the law was, because we're civilized and we use the metric system, we use liters and kilograms and grams like any sane person would. It's not illegal to use pounds and ounces, but the government will tell you that it is. And so they're hailing this as some big success. Hey, we can use pints again. We always could. It just appeals to a certain type of person.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of idiots over here who will believe that nonsense and think, yay, victory, you know. It's like when Trump tells his Muppets at his Klan rallies when he says, "It's no, thanks to me, it's now legal to say Merry Christmas."
Yeah.
And they all cheer. Yeah, well, it was never fucking illegal, you know.
Yeah, just major retailers had decided that it wasn't a good idea to, estrange a good share of the customers.
Yeah.
The only real law was back in 1973 or 5, whenever it was. Okay, let's all use the same system to weigh things and measure things. I know that sounds crazy, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
hey, here's the thing: if you still want to use pints or pounds or whatever, you can do. You can have that on your little signs or on your property, but it can't be bigger than the metric number. You can still have your little pounds and ounces,
Okay.
but the metric one has to be more prominent, otherwise people will get confused.
Right.
That's the only fucking rule there ever was.
What, honey?
So you're saying that your country is completely twisted on its head?
Oh, well, you know fucking well it is.
No, because
Jesus
yesterday, someone that I love was trying to point out about guns in America, and I was trying to be polite and not be like, "Hey, your entire country is not literally but figuratively on fire right now." So be careful.
Yeah, Stool, you know what? Even in the US, virtually everything I buy, while it's got the ounces printed there, it's got the grams printed in just one type size smaller right next to it.
Same.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look. Yeah, it's like that here.
Yeah, this is what they do now, this government. They'll come up with some bullshit story that appeals to a certain type of person. And you know
Yeah.
the kind of person I mean.
Yeah, they need a bit of good PR.
Well, they're
Yeah,
trying to rally their troops.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the same with your red hat people, the maggots. You know, you appeal to your base. So the the thing about the pint, one of the things they were really getting an erection about was that it's now legal on a pint glass, as in the thing you get in a pub, to have a little picture of the crown on it. Right. That was always a thing. It's never gone away. But the newspapers have told these idiots, yeah, we've got the crown back on the glass, proper pint glass. It's always been there, and that little crown symbol kind of etched into the glass. What it actually is, it tells you who manufactured the glass, and it's a company in France. So
Yeah. Well, that's like most of the MAGA gear is made in China.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't all of it made in China?
yeah, but these people who they're trying to appeal to lap this stuff up because they'll clutch and grab onto any little what they think is a victory that they can do, because as you just said, they've devoted so much of their time to this bullshit, they'll accept anything as being a victory. So yeah, with no food on our shelves, we're drinking shit out of our water, we're killing our pigs, and it's going to be really fucking shit at Christmas. It's going to get so much worse. But you know,
I've seen pictures of some of the UK grocery stores that, just so many empty spaces on the shelves.
And that's unheard of here, even in the land of not so plenty.
Oh yeah, but the thing about that is, first of all, the supporters of this nonsense will literally say to you, it's a hoax, it's not happening, they won't accept it. Even though, well, we ran out of petrol, didn't we? We didn't have any fucking petrol for, 2 or 3 weeks?
Okay, so, gosh, how long ago was that? 6 years ago? 5 years ago when all this started? No, 4 years ago.
Well, the
What,
vote
the
was in
whole bee thing?
2016.
I was going
Oh,
to say that was about the
wow.
same time as the American election. Yeah.
So James O'Brien was right 5 years ago. Here we are.
Mhm.
5 years ago, he said this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a
None
lot
of
of
this
people
is a-
saw it coming.
None of it is a surprise to anybody with a functioning brain cell. But unfortunately, during the ridiculous campaign back in 2016, we were told not to believe experts. That's our government said that to us. Don't believe experts.
Well, that's where
Aren't
we're
they
at
too?
now with the anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers. Is yeah, we've got Fox News telling them, don't believe the doctors or scientists.
Our local sheriff is calling people woke. LA is so effed, it's not even funny. We're so effed. And it's not like I'm pro cop, but they're refusing to get vaccinated. A lot of the cops and like 1,000 something of the LAPD were like, you guys can't stop us. We're not going to get vaccinated.
Okay, check your sources on that, because it's a story that's been circulating and they keep changing what state or city it's applying to. But it actually started with a police union in Massachusetts saying that. And it turned out that while this guy representing this union of over 2,000 officers was saying that, dozens, hundreds of officers are going to quit rather than get vaccinated, it turned out there was only one resignation.
Hold on, let me look it up.
And I became aware of that because I kept seeing the same story. And a couple of days ago, it came back as saying it was Minneapolis where it was happening. And it's like, yeah, I could tell that the text was copy and pasted from the one I read from Massachusetts. And they had just switched the word Massachusetts for Minneapolis.
Oh, and then you figured that out because in the middle was seed design proponentists.
Thousands of LA cops unvaccinated refusing as deadline looms. That's LA Times. 2 weeks ago, police commission president slams unvaccinated LAPD officers. LA officers sue over vaccine mandate. So they're idiots. They're complete morons. Thousands of LAPD employees plan to seek vaccine exemptions.
Where was it that I just saw today? There was a court ruling that somebody could not refuse religious exemptions to the vaccine. And this, as far as I'm concerned, is a bunch of crap. Because my thought would be that public health concerns would take precedence over fairy tales, but I'm wrong, I guess, right?
I thought the same, and they're public servants is the problem, because that's the one thing that we have on them. When like we have laws where we're allowed to tell the sheriffs to F off. It's not like they're going to, but like you can tell them to their face, like, hey, you're a public servant, not a dictator, F off. And you could tell them like, hey, nah. And
yeah, Titan Uranus is saying if you've watched the sitcom Yes Minister, that's the situation that was predicted. Somebody is trolling the hell out of that on Twitter, because I forget the name of the account, but somebody on Twitter for the last couple of months has just been posting quotes from the show Yes Minister, because they all apply to current headlines.
Yeah, Isaiah.
Everyone says hi. Say hi. You got to go to bed. This guy has to get up because he has to, for the first time in now 2 years, he has to go on campus and get testing. He can't do it online because they got to stand over him. So we have to get up like normal people, even though we live like surfers.
Okay, Jen's saying Seattle's about to lose 50% of its police force. And you know what? personally, I think it's a great opportunity to reform the force.
Yeah.
And
Because the guys who are anti-vaxxers are probably the same guys that are in the Proud Boys.
And one of the reasons that I laugh is because they are so defunded here that they're using this as an excuse to bring up the fact that they actually were defunded. So that's one promise that was kept during the election.
Jen, that's the one I saw. Yeah, New York State.
So it's crazy times here in LA County. Crazy times.
Yeah, well, you know that we live to see your kid video bomb these streams, right?
He should be asleep. I've told him I thought he was asleep. He's in his room making a bunch of right-wing patches right now because I gave him my other embroidery machine. I keep my end of the bargains. If I promise someone something, I even if I'm reluctant about it, I keep my end of the bargains. And I told him when I get a new machine, I'll give him my old one. And when the box came, he literally was unplugging it.
Yeah. All right.
I got to go buy more supplies. That's why I'm not using it right now, because I gave him all the wax paper, all the cellophane, everything, so he can make his crazy right-wing patches. And he's called me Commander stuff.
So wait, is your kid a red hat? What the hell?
He wears one. He's politically, he's all over the place. Autistic people join mass movements. And so what happens
Hey, don't generalize here.
No, I am, and there are studies about this. And then, you know what? I hate it when people say that, but it's true. Like, and it's not just autistic people, but like people get caught up in mass movements. You know?
No, I think that's got to be broken down by some percentage, because a lot of autistic people are introverts and don't want to join any kind of group at all.
I agree with you. No, I agree with you. And my son is that way, but he's more in love with the ideal.
Yeah.
And he wants to be sovereign. He basically wants to be sovereign. He wants to be Lord Sovereign, ruler of the universe. And I always jokingly tell him, because he'll tell me his elaborate plans, and I'm like, I just want New Zealand. When you take over the world, the people of New Zealand can live there. I just want to go live there. I tell him, when you take over the world, just give me New Zealand. That's all. Oh. You should see the looks he gets when he wears his he has a hammer and sickle on one of his cowboy hats, and he wears it in public. And no one says a word to me. But like when he's with his mom's like, "No, you can't wear that with me." And her husband's like that too. And I really respect my ex-wife's husband. And he's like, I don't need any more attention drawn towards me.
Yeah.
But especially where I live, people are extremely right-wing and Trumpers. So there was one guy at a store, I actually had to go tell him to stuff himself, because he's like, "You let your kid wear that?" And I was like, "Yeah, you have a problem with it?" And he's like, "Nope." And he walked away. People are emboldened nowadays. I live in a place where people literally wear Trump hats, and I'm not threatened. I go on with my everyday life,
What amazes the heck?
Oh, sorry.
What amazes the hell out of me? Around here, I've seen people wear Trump yarmulkes.
Oh, same. I live in the land of Ben Shapiro. I live in the land of Ben Shapiro, so same here, basically. I wouldn't be surprised, Oh, it hurts my feelings. Oh,
my landlord is a big Trumper. It's like, geez, man.
It's one of the things I'm concerned with about coming out here, because, I have no idea about the building manager, but I know a lot of the neighbors are Trump supporters.
You Korostu.
Oh, they scored again. I don't get at this point, like what Stool was saying earlier about how Sparks is, what he does is show how insane Trump is, and because Trump still thinks that he's in office.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry. Like, I like my leaders to be only half insane. Not
The thing that has
completely.
me laughing at Hal Sparks, and he's not paying me to say this, but I really do genuinely laugh my ass off, which is kind of good for me at the moment. But he does what people should have been doing 5 years ago, when his Klan rallies were being constantly shown forever, over and over on the TV. He just says it as it is. You know, he points out that is complete and absolute bullshit.
Yes.
And he'll roll around on the floor laughing at the nonsense, because it is absolutely crazy nonsense.
I have to
You
thank
can't-
you, Stool. I have to thank you because you brought Hal Sparks into my life. I need
You
that.
know-
He goes live right around when I'm cooking dinner.
One of the funniest ones that he did, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. You know the cyber ninjas?
Mm-hmm.
They were the guys who were in charge of, air quote, auditing.
Yeah, the Arizona recount.
Yeah. And they did a kind of press conference thingamajig. Oh, before that, obviously, Mike Pillow had his thing where he was streaming the event live, complete with many commercials for his shitty pillows.
But that's how I know he's being sued, is because of Hal Sparks.
Yeah. But he covered the cyber ninjas doing this press conference thing where they were going through all the numbers involved in the actual election, all the votes. And they were just talking complete and utter bullshit. And well, you've got to remember, I'm not American, so I'm not an expert on how you count the votes in a particular county. I have no idea, or state. Sparks explained it to me, and he went through all the figures and said, okay, you have so many figures in this column, so many in this column, and blah, 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 blah. What the cyber ninjas are saying is absolute horse crap. They don't understand the data they're looking at. Because in actual fact, after looking at their own data, Trump lost a shitload more votes
Yep.
than has even been published, you know, that we know. But we know he lost thousands. But it's
Yeah.
more than that. Because they don't understand how the figures work.
Well, this was just the votes for one county. And at the end, according to Cyber Ninja's total, at the end of this, it turned out that Biden had actually won the county by like 360 some more votes than what the first total had shown.
Knuckleheads.
What the cyber ninjas understand about the election process, you could write on your thumbnail. It's just, and that's why it's funny watching Hal Sparks, because he just takes the piss out of them so much.
Well, and the whole Cyber Ninja thing, it's like they were so completely unqualified that it was just absurd for them to even be given access to the original ballots.
Absolutely.
There was someone who said that. There was like a county official in Arizona that was like, I don't even feel comfortable giving the information to these people.
Well, and it's also turned out now that in the process of them doing their analysis and trying to find these extra votes for Trump, they have done irreparable damage to the voting machines, and they all have to be replaced.
Yes, that's what it was. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so the taxpayers now have to pay for buying all new voting machines.
That's such bullshit.
Yeah, the list of things that those cyber ninja idiots didn't understand was just, God, it was such a big list. It was ridiculous.
Can we now say that Trump officially is the worst president ever and literally went out kicking and screaming and tried to tear down the very democracy he was claiming to defend?
I'm just going to put this one out here. Okay, I don't like to brag, but before he lost the election, some of you people were saying, no, he'll go quietly because we've got an army and stuff. And I kept saying, he will not go quietly. He has to go, because if he gets a second term, you will not fucking like what happens then. But he's not going to go quietly after his first term.
I was imagining
no, it won't be that bad.
I was imagining the Secret Service detail in the White House telling him that we are sworn to the president. You are no longer the president, and tasing him and dragging him out.
Oh, I was waiting for that day.
Pretty, I'd love to see that.
They could have sold tickets to that.
It does amaze me that it surprised people that something bad happened. Obviously, nobody expected a bunch of fucking hillbillies to storm the castle.
Yeah, I did not expect them to lay siege to Congress and actually get into the building.
No, that was a bit unexpected, but it was always on the cards that something shit was going to go down because Trump is a fucking lunatic,
Psycho.
crazy,
Yeah.
psycho, con man,
Oh, yeah, well,
fuck muppet.
you know, it was no surprise for them to have a rally and for them to clash with police, but for the police to be so completely unprepared to deal with it, you know, that was somebody was planning this and wanted them to succeed.
Yeah, well, that's you
There was
mentioned
no
earlier,
reason
didn't
for
you,
the
about
police to be so totally unprepared for that to happen.
Well,
It's
the
because
thing is that I'm tempted to believe the people who are saying that there were many elements within the Capitol Police that were aiding and abetting these terrorists.
absolutely.
Well, and that's what I mean. I think that, you know, somebody at the command level of the Capitol Police who was in charge of deciding, you know, making the staffing decisions and that, I think somebody at that level wanted it to succeed and was making sure that there would not be enough resistance there to stop them.
I always use this example. In every major city in America, we have a World Trade Center, okay? In downtown LA, you can't get within 15 feet of the World Trade Center without a security guard asking you where you're going, an armed security guard. You would have to have a coordinated effort to pull away the police to not protect the Capitol. You would literally have to try to make it defenseless, which they did.
Oh, yeah. And did you hear this? That he was trying to appoint his daughter as being president of the World Bank?
Yeah, because he's not corrupt, and the World Bank isn't one of the most corrupt organizations that's ever crawled out of the ocean.
Yeah.
Or washed their money in the ocean on different islands. All around the world. Yuck.
Okay, well, I've had enough Trump talk for tonight, and it's after midnight, and working on my sleep, I'm supposed to be shutting down the computer 2 hours before I try to go to bed. So,
good luck with that.
And I got
well, we should just wind it down here so I can get away from the video screens for a while.
And then I can go back to bed. Sleep all day tomorrow. That'll be fun. Actually, I can't. I've got a prescription to pick up. Damn it.
Yeah, well, Doorknob, one of the painfully true memes that was going around, you know, is why are there so few police when there's a Proud Boys rally? The same reason you don't see Batman and Bruce Wayne in the same room together.
Yeah.
Sad but true.
Yeah, okay. Well, Diana, you have anything you want to plug before you go?
Oh, let's see. Just the Sunday at noon and Tuesday at 7 p.m. And now that I have my new laptop that I blew a lot of money on that I really don't have, but we won't go into that. I can do some work while I'm at dialysis, and maybe I can get around to uploading a few more cooking videos.
Yeah, well, considering how much time you have to spend there, it's worth an investment to make it more productive for you.
Yeah, I mean, sitting on my arse for 4 hours is just the great way to spend your time, man. Oh well, what are you gonna do? But yeah, I've got 3 videos that that are set up ready to edit. It's just that I have to finally get my files installed correctly and everything else, so that I can get to work on editing those videos, and that I can fool around at dialysis and not totally waste the time, and that'll be fun. Yay. Yay. Yay.
Well,
Yeah.
Aunt Joe's asking if anybody wants to stream, so
Yeah, what?
Aunt Joe's asking if anybody wants to stream, so anybody who wants to continue, go talk to her
I'm going
about
to
it.
bed. I'm going to bed.
I gotta get up early.
Stool. Yeah, you're waiting for
Hello.
your power supply to make your triumphant return.
Yeah, it's 6:15 a.m. So you sleepy people in the past, go to bed. I'm going to pop outside and go for my morning stroll. Would you believe? Because
Okay.
You constitutional?
my constitutional, yeah. Because now that I'm living slap bang in the centre of town, I can go. I like to walk around it at 6 a.m. because it's just weird, and I can just laugh at people who are drunk and stuff. And I'm also staying awake because I'm waiting for my power supply.
Native
I want my power
atheist
supply.
Native atheist has the comment of the night. Heck yeah. That's what it'll take to keep me up. I'm gonna be out in about an hour. That's early for me, but I have to get up at the crack of dawn tomorrow and be a commuter soccer mom. Oh, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Offhand, Aunt Joe, I'm not aware of anyone who's streaming this late.
Early.
That's
Yeah.
so early. It's
It's late until it's sunrise, then it's early.
All right, that leaves this shrub.
Almost 6:30 a.m. It's early. Get your act together, fucking lazy Americans.
6:30 a.m. is still late because it still means I hadn't gotten to bed yet, not that I'm getting up.
And speaking of lazy Americans, I am Godless Sewing of the Godless Sewing channel. Go subscribe to the Godless Sewing channel. I have a video out about brother VX809 that I brought back to life, and a machine that someone sent me. It's still a mystery. No one's claimed responsibility for it. So I have a new stalker. It's gonna be fun. Go check out the Godless Sewing channel. And have a good night. I make videos every 2 or 3 days. Oh, and tomorrow is officially Stool the Revenge, or Return of the Stool, or The Stool Strikes Back.
I like the last one. I like that. If my power supply arrives, I'll knock myself up a little title card, and I shall use that one. Will, thank you very much. The Stool Strikes Back. Oh, by the way, don't get too excited, Will, because there's another part to that sewing machine, and I've got it. It's a little remote control, and when I press a certain button, I'll just let you wait for the surprise.
Hey, if it's got a camera in it, I don't wear clothes after midnight.
I know. I've tested it.
Okay, another reason why we need to shut down real fast then.
Oh, you still got 2 hours before my slippers turn into my birthday suit.
Okay, well, I, of course, will be back, next Wednesday at noon, Thursday at 10 p.m. And I will be on tomorrow night. I think that the shills are doing pub chat at 6, and Saturday doing the regular shill shows, I think at 8, but the time zones have been getting mucked up a lot lately, so I'm not quite sure about the hours they're going to start. So I just want to thank all my Patreon supporters for, sending me a bit each month to keep things running. Junie, Ox, Robert X, Greg Hartwick, the Lavender Lady.
Who the hell is that?
I don't know, but she seemed pretty cool. She keeps sending me money, and actually, this month she actually increased how much she's sending me. So, and
Twice nothing is still nothing, right?
Yep. Vonrick and X from the Utah Outcast. So, And as usual, the links for everyone who said anything in the stream are going to be in the description here as soon as this gets processed. So with that, I will wish you all a good night.
Have a good night.
Merry Christmas to all.
Rock out with your
I can
clock
see
out.
up your ass, Will.